Field Judge Michael Brown, Side Judge Jeremy Keene, and Back Judge Marcus Elliott.
Good luck, guys. And to witness this athletic competition. We're grateful for the many people who have prepared the way for this to be here before us. We're grateful for Southern Virginia University and the opportunities that it brings to us to compete and to learn. We ask a blessing upon all those involved today, ask a blessing upon the refs, that they might see and judge our game with clear hearts and with fairness. We ask you to bless those that are competing, those that are performing, that they will be able to do their best, that they will see that as they serve and perform, love in their hearts, that they will see that service bring joy to the lives of others and those around them. We ask a blessing of safety upon everyone, and that we will see and witness the fruits of blood, sweat, and tears, and be reminded of the blood, sweat, and tears of our Savior Jesus Christ, atonement. That we can always draw near to Him through our difficult times. We ask this blessing here today, that we will be able to feel and see the love that our performers and our athletics have for each other, and emulate that in our daily lives. We ask this prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Dr. Hurtek.
Now, if you will all please rise and remove your caps and face the flag. Performing the national anthem today is Southern Virginia University's premier a cappella ensemble, Accolade.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's homecoming week here at Southern Virginia University. Festivities and on-campus activities, all leading up to today's matchup between the Scots of Maryville College and your Southern Virginia University Knights. I'm Dawson Weeder, joined for the first time by Jared King. Jared, it's good to have you here, and it should be a great day of football.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. I'm thankful to have this opportunity to do this. Man, it's a perfect day for football.
And it's definitely nice to be back as an alumnus and see all the alumni and see some of the guys that I played with and just be in this atmosphere. And it's great to see these guys be able to compete and hopefully keep the crowd in it.
Absolutely, and it should be a very exciting game. Again, a USA South matchup. The Knights won the coin toss and elected to receive to start today's game, which I was kind of surprised by to start off, because usually Southern Virginia's a defensive team. They usually like to get the ball in the second half, set the tone early defensively. But you and I were talking, Jared, of how that they might just simply want to strike first.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it'd be great to keep the ball away from the Maryville offense and start fast.
And returning for Southern Virginia, that was number 4, Seth Massey from Gulf Breeze, Florida, and they're back at their own 11-yard line. So not great starting position for Southern Virginia's offense. And so, Jared, before the game, we were talking back and forth about some things that both these teams can do going into today's game. And what are some things that Southern Virginia can do? They started the season 0-5. They're 0-2 in conference so far. A lot of struggles on both sides of the ball. What are some things that they can do offensively or just all around to help them out today?
Well, we need to start fast. We need to compete all 4 quarters. I think we've had a rough time with that this year. Haven't really played all 4 quarters. We need to, again, start and finish fast and really win the turnover battle. Of course, you need to protect the ball in order to help do that. Maryville has had some great success the last few games with 10 turnovers. So SVU's got to limit that. And on defense, they just got to minimize explosive plays for Maryville.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. And Drake Washington getting that first reception for Southern Virginia. Shumway in the gun. He's going to hand off to Langtree, who's going to push forward for a gain of about 2 yards, make it a 3rd down and a short 2. And so for Maryville's side, they're coming off a huge win against LaGrange where they're on all cylinders. What are some things they can do to carry that momentum to today's game?
Sorry, repeat that.
So let's see, 3rd down and 2. Yeah, so again, they've had a great couple of games. They've gotten 2 wins so far this year, and their offense is really clicking with the quarterback having a great week or great year so far, and their offense is just clicking. Here's Shumway on the run. He's going to get a 1st down.
Yeah, and I think, with Maryville, they've won 2 out of their last 3. So, I mean, that's trending in the right direction. And they did the same thing last year. They ended the season, I believe, winning 4 out of their last 6 games. So they're looking to, I would say, continue that trend starting with this game and hopefully winning these 3 out of the last 4.
And that 4-2 stretch to end the year last year started off with a victory against Southern Virginia at home. So looking to replicate that success in this season. 1st down and 10 at the Knights' own 22-yard line. Shumway back to pass. Quick pass to the left side of Washington. Got some space close to the 1st down marker around the 32. They're going to mark him just short, about a yard.
Gain of 9 on the play. That'll bring up 2nd and 1 for the Knights.
So far early in this drive, Southern Virginia electing to try to get those quick plays to the outside, trying to let the receivers use their legs to get extra yardage after the catch.
Yeah, we're going to need to do that because Maryville's defense is pretty stout, and they've, again, had a few turnovers here in the last, quite a few turnovers the last few games, and come up with a bunch of sacks. So SVU is going to have to be fast and quick.
Absolutely, they've gotten 10 sacks in the past 2 games, like you mentioned, and so here's a handoff to Wood. He's going to get stuffed at the line, make it a 3rd down and 1. And so, again, like you said, if you want to evade that pass rush that has been so effective the past 2 weeks, Southern Virginia has to get the ball out quickly. Either that or if you need a deep throw down the field, you need to give Colton Shumway some time in the pocket. You need to let him relax back there because if you get it to where he's feeling pressure all day long, it's going to affect his throwing. It's going to affect the entire outlook of that offense. And so 3rd down and a 1 to go. So far, Maryville doing a good job against the run.
Yeah, and we've got a fairly young offensive line, with a few 2 sophomores and 3 freshmen, and that's hard to do. But I think we're up to the task. Just got to make it happen.
Pass a little too far to the inside. That was intended for number 18, Caden Hyder. It'll make it 4th down and 1. The Knights looking like they may want to go for it. deep in their own territory. Want to get a hard count, try to get them to go off sides.
I would say the same, or if they can get a little pooch punt, but I think it looks like they're going for it, and you might be right.
Indeed, Shumway will do a pooch punt. That's a solid play. I like that. Again, you're trying to make a play where you can, but if it's not going to work out for you, don't take unnecessary chances early on. Try to play the field position battle a little bit.
Yep. I think that was a good decision. Not returnable, and you know, they're back on their side of on their end of the field. So, all right, we'll see what this offense can do.
And indeed, this offense today will be without their main running back on the year, Cody Estep, who accounts for a total of 321 of their rushing yards. So we'll see if they're able to adjust in for him. Will be number 8, Braden Dunson. And he's going to get a carry, get about 3 yards on that one. And, Jared, we were talking before the game of how this Maryville offense has done a great job at getting a lot of different running backs involved and a lot of runners in general, especially their quarterback, number 10, Bryson Rollins. Bryson Rollins has aired it out this year, but he is definitely capable of putting it to the ground and getting some yardage.
Yeah, he's definitely not afraid to run. You know, he's got almost as many rush yards as you mentioned, Cody. You know, we'll see who steps up from the Maryville offense to take Estep's place here.
And that'll be 3rd down and 6 to go. And we were also talking about how before the game, the Estep came into this game with 92 rushing attempts. That's more than the 2 running backs that are starting for Maryville combined by a long shot. So a lot of experience missing in that backfield. Here's 3rd down and 6 for the Scots. Back to pass, got plenty of time, got a man down deep. That is complete, and he can go all the way to the end zone. That is number 17, Steph Carter Jr., completely blown coverage in the middle of the field. And Bryson Rollins is cooking early.
Yeah, they like to run a lot of verticals, and some of the things they were looking at in practice was trying to keep that leverage and make sure you're seeing your vertical, make sure you're seeing your receiver coming at you. And obviously there was something that was busted there. It looked like it was cover 3, just split the seam.
That's now the extra point attempt for striking very quickly with just over 11 minutes left to go in this first quarter. The point after attempt is up.
Ooh.
And it is no good off the upright. Missed, a rare miss from number 39, Trey Hampton, who came this year 3 out of 4 for field goals and very efficient on PATs. So now it'll be a 6-0 lead for Maryville. If Southern Virginia can get things cooking offensively, that could pay big dividends later on.
Yeah, that could definitely play into if SVU can keep this game close, that could play a big part as you get closer to the end of the game here.
We saw that with Southern Virginia against North Carolina Wesleyan a couple weeks ago, where Southern Virginia scored early, they missed the point after, and they ended up losing by 1 point because of that. But regardless, again, Maryville's offense doing a great job of capitalizing on blown coverage in that first drive, just a quick 3-play drive.
Well, and that was one of our keys to the game, was limiting explosive plays, and hopefully that's the only explosive play for SVU, from SVU's sake, because they can't do that again. They just can't do that.
You definitely know that the coaches are going to give the defense an earful after that play, but Southern Virginia will be back to receive this kickoff once again, find themselves down 6-0. And the kick is off, a short kickoff.
Yeah, I believe that probably should have let that go out of bounds, but.
And the penalty flag will be thrown as the kickoff went out of bounds. I am curious as to why number 4, Seth Massey, decided to try to field that if it was going out of bounds, because again, that's a penalty, and that's a costly penalty. That's a field position changer right there.
That's huge. Yeah,
so the refs are discussing on the far side how to call that, because again, he did try to field it.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe he was out of bounds when he fielded it, but it looked like he still had a foot in, and maybe that's what they're discussing right now.
And real quick, want to shout out the refs of today's game. Lead ref is Randy Ramsire. Umpire is Christopher Doherty. Linesman is Lewis Jackson. Line judge John Elliker. Field judge Michael Brown. Side judge Jeremy Keene. And back judge Marcus Elliott.
Phillies kicking the ball out of bounds.
So they will call an illegal kick out of bounds.
35-yard line.
great field position for Southern Virginia's offense to try to get things back on track and try to answer Maryville's electric opening drive.
Yeah, no, we got to be smart. You know, it's hard to see from here, but that was a close play. But hopefully SVU can take that and make some good use of it and get a score here.
That's one thing Southern Virginia really needs to try to figure out is how to capitalize on their opponent's mistakes. We've seen several times where they force turnovers or have gotten opportunities like this and haven't actually been able to capitalize on it as many times as they would like. Three receivers to the right. Shumway looks to the left. Another quick pass to the right side. That was complete. It's number 88, Clinton Boxley, the sophomore from Manassas, Virginia.
Yeah, nice little quick hitch there. You can't beat that. Nice 5-yard gain. I mean, that's what you want going into second down. You know, then you've got 2 downs to get 5 yards. I mean, that's what you want to do on first down.
Absolutely, get the yards that you can and make it more manageable for you. 3 receivers on the right side for Southern Virginia. And I hand it off to Wood. And he's going to go forward for about 3 yards on that carry.
Carry for the Knights by number 36, Cade Nelson. Gain of 3 on.
That's actually Cade Nelson on that carry for Southern Virginia. We were talking before the game about how Cade Nelson has really stepped up as a senior leader in this running back room. You know, he's really put on a lot of muscle since being at Southern Virginia, able to really have that power running game to him. Makes it a manageable 3rd down and 2, like you said, what they wanted. This is the exact situation you like on a 3rd down.
Yep. So we got trips to the right here.
Got Langtree in the backfield. Shumway looks to his left once again. They're really attacking that left side. That's Matt Johansson for the reception for a 1st down. Maryville trying to say they stripped the ball away. I believe he was down beforehand.
You know, that was a decent throw. Shumway's got to see that about a second quicker and give his guy a little bit more room to be able to turn upfield, and thankfully they got the 1st down. But if he can see that about a second quicker, we'll be in business. But nonetheless, we got a 1st down.
And trying to claim they got the ball out was number 36, Nate Carwile, who's actually substituting in for the injured Tyler Bost, who is one of the big-time tackle leaders on this defense. So that's also another hole in that defense that Southern Virginia should be able to capitalize on in today's game.
Yeah, that's huge, him not being in there. Yeah, because he accounted for and he's 2nd on the team in tackles for loss, so that's big, you know, right behind Devon White. And so him not being there is huge, like you said.
And a short run from Langtree for about makes it 2nd down and 9 at their own 47-yard line. Nelson in the backfield with Shumway. Shumway's going to look to the right this time.
Ooh.
He's going to try to throw it away. It falls to the ground. It's still being fought for. It's not clear as to who the ball is going to.
He had a guy running up the seam, splitting the corner and the safety, and but I think right as he saw that open, they started to close, and he was getting hit at the same time. So it was a good. Can't say he was tucking that or not, but it was. I think we got lucky on that play.
Absolutely. They will end up losing a yard on that play with the sack and fumble, so make it 3rd down and 10. And like we talked about, how this defense has really done a great job of getting pressure on the quarterback, getting a total of 10 sacks the past 2 games. And you see exactly why. They don't give a lot of time to opposing quarterbacks. Shumway is going to run up the middle, and he's going to get maybe 3 or 4 yards just past midfield. Make it 4th down and 6. And this part of the field, it's kind of a gray area. You already had, you know, Maryville have a quick touchdown pass. And so do you want to give the ball back to their offense so quickly, but also at the same time you don't want to give them this great field position? Shumway in the gun.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do it if you see another pooch kick here, but pin them a little bit deeper this time.
And Shumway indeed does so again. It's going to roll close to the end zone. This could be great. Special teams right here. It'll be down at the 8-yard line of Maryville. So like you said, great field position flip right there. Now, what you got to do for Southern Virginia is figure out how to not let those coverages get exposed like in the last drive.
Yeah, and a lot of, you know, from what defensive coaches were talking about this week was not drifting, not having their DBs drifting into space or drifting too far where you have an underneath route, which Maryville runs a lot of that. They'll run 2 slants and they'll have a corner, and the guys got to be careful.
Rollins back to pass, going to look deep to his right side. He's got a man open, and it's caught for a first down. That is number 15, Hunter Burke, one of the senior receivers on this roster.
Yeah, that was a good throw. That was a good throw by Rollins. I mean, he was covered. He had 2 guys on him. It was a great play.
But it's going to come back. Number guilty of the hold. That is Jaden Curtis. So that's going to completely negate a huge gain for Maryville. Again, Maryville doing a great job of exposing the defensive backfield like that. But again, I want to go back to the catch from Hunter Burke. Again, like you said, he had a defender on his back. He had a defender coming across the field, the safety, trying to disrupt the pass, and still able to come down with it, despite the fact that it's negated by the penalty. So now to be put at their own 4-yard line. And with that penalty negating that pass, I mean, Rollins is now just passed two times, 2 for 2, 64 yards, 1 touchdown. If you're starting a game,
you can't argue
that's
with
where your
that.
stat line wants to be.
Wouldn't be surprised to see
A run play from Maryville.
yeah.
They're going to bring it back close to the original line of scrimmage. That was Tad Logan Jr.
And the Maryville will run that a lot. They'll run the power, and that was the focus this week from the D-line, was just stopping that power, because they'll pull a guard on the weak side. They'll pull and block and kick one of the linebackers out, and that guy's got free range to just roam.
Rollins back to pass. He's got time. Goes across the field. That is caught and immediately brought down. That was number 7, Hayden Hollins. Hayden Holland, I should say. And that is a first down for Maryville. And so far, again, Maryville's passing attack is clicking. Rollins is getting plenty of time in the pocket. He's finding his receivers down the field. If Southern Virginia doesn't solve something soon, this could be a long day for the Southern Virginia defense. So first down and 10 at Maryville's own 22-yard line. Rollins back to pass again. He's got pressure.
Oh.
He's strip sack. He's going to pick it up himself and run for it. He's still going to lose about 4 yards. Getting on that was number 44, Tuinakavadra.
That was needed because there were some guys open, and he had some nice running room up the middle there. And a lot of
I tell you what, Tuinakavadra has the menacing ability at defensive line as much as his last name is long. It's an impressive thing we've seen from him so far this year.
And, you know, being a freshman, that's great to see. So, you know, hopefully that means 3 more years of him, you know, which he's only going to get better.
Now second down and 14 for the Scots. They're going to hand it off up the middle. He's got some space and blockers. Finally brought down, making it third down and 8. Running with that was number 28, Tad Logan Jr.
And eventually they'll have to, SVU will have to watch that, because Rollins will pull that here maybe in a few plays and, you know, take off running. So they got to keep an eye on him.
Rollins fakes the handoff, passing across the field. He's got an open receiver. Brings that all the way to the 42-yard line. On that reception was number 16, Jaden Jones, the sophomore tight end from Chesapeake, Virginia.
Yeah, they'll run that a lot, where they'll run 2 verticals, kind of clearing out the corners and the safety, and have the linebackers drop, and that tight end will come across 5 to 10 yards, and right just behind that middle linebacker, in between him and the safety, and that was it.
So now first down and 10. But so far, we talked about keys to the game before everything got started, how Southern Virginia wants to minimize big plays, explosive plays. Maryville's been able to get a lot of those so far in the early goings. And that's a massive run for a first down by number 8, Braden Dunson.
Yeah, and which, you know, those big plays, unfortunately, that just opens up your whole offense. You know, now SVU will try to overcompensate possibly.
Rollins going to hand it off at the middle. Once again to Dunson. He's got space on the right side. Gets another first down for the Scots, or close to it. So Maryville picking up right where they left off last week after they scored 56 points against LaGrange. Not missing a beat. And again, we mentioned how last year was a similar story, how they kind of struggled in the early get-go, but once they got to this part of their schedule against Southern Virginia is where things really started to come to play and come to fruition for this offense. Rollins, back to pass, looks who's left. Got plenty of time. Defender coming from the back, and he's tripped up. And getting in on that. That was number 28 for Southern Virginia, Jonah McFarland. Got him by the shoestring, almost quite literally.
He barely got him. I mean, that was probably a 7 or 8 yard gain. I kind of see Rollins, running to the sideline and getting about 8 yards on that, but that was close.
Because again, that's a threat you have to watch out for with Rollins. He's decimated you through the air, but his legs are just as deadly for you. Another great running play for Logan Jr. I mean, we talk about this passing attack from Maryville, but so far, Southern Virginia has had no answer for this rushing attack.
No, and that's going to be hard because that's, pretty soon they're going to have to start possibly stacking the box and putting 6, 7 guys in the box, which opens up your defensive backfield, which opens up some verticals and some corners. And
fakes handoff. Rollins going to pass the left side. Got a wide receiver screen. Breaking some ankles. Getting past the 20. Stiff arming. Making his way to the 17-yard line. That is number 80, Tristan Wright, on that reception. It's not only getting the play they wanted, but the yards after the catch, yards after contact. And again, like you said, where they have to probably stack the box later on if the rushing attack continues to be as great as it is, it means you have to rely on one-on-one coverage with Southern Virginia. And again, having a young defense like they have, this is definitely a recovery year for their defense. They've had a solid defense the past 3 years, a lot of great players leaving, and so you're really building that up. And so it would really put you in a pickle if that is the case.
Yeah, that's correct.
Rollins going to hand it up the middle. That's Logan once again getting a gain of about 6 yards to the 11-yard line.
Tackled by the Knights, number 3, Stockton Ferguson.
Ferguson was in on that tackle for Southern Virginia. Make it 2nd down and a long 4 for the Scots. Just under 2 minutes left to play in this first quarter.
Oh, right.
Into the end zone. That is going to be a touchdown for the Scots once again. That is Kyler Edwards on the reception.
Oh, there's the flag, though.
And it is in the back or near the backfield, around the line of scrimmage. We will have to see what the call is.
Now that play was almost in slow motion. You could see he faked that dive, and that just sucked up the linebackers, and he just popped right behind just that seam, right behind the linebackers, and it was a beautiful throw. Had put in some nice touch on it.
Here's the call.
Resulting play is a touchdown. After the play, sportsmanlike conduct on scoring team number 49.
So the touchdown will count, but I believe Kyler Edwards may have spiked the ball, and the refs didn't quite like that. So in sportsmanlike conduct on the Scots, they'll take the lead 12-0, PAT pending. And like you said, that play developed very slowly. A lot of times you think of football, you think, oh, okay, if you run plays fast, you're going to get things open. Not necessarily. If you do things methodically and you kind of slowly develop a play, sometimes it can be just as tricky.
Oh.
Point after is up, and that one is good. So after missing the first one, Hampton's able to get that one through, make it 13-0 in favor of the Scots.
Well, and that's kind of what we talked about earlier on this drive. You run so effectively, you've got to suck up. That just sucks up the linebackers, and that just opens up for plays just like that. So.
And here's the replay of that one again, the fake handoff. They're bringing the linebackers up, like you just said, Jared, and then tossing to the tight end in the middle of the field. Very easy setup. Again, when you have a drive that is run so efficiently, you're able to run the ball well, able to get the pass plays that you want, get it to the outside, make your wide receivers, make some guys miss. It just opens up so much for your playbook. It opens up so much parts of the field. It makes it to where offense becomes easy after a while.
It does. It makes it so much easier, and things almost act as if they're in slow motion, and it's such a different experience. And yeah, like you said, those things become so easy. But Maryville, just going back to their offense quick, they have been great, of course, against LaGrange. Almost 300 yards rushing. And that's been their highest rushing game this year so far. So obviously they're they're continuing that right now, unfortunately for SVU.
And so with that unsportsmanlike conduct, the kickoff will be taking place at the 20-yard line, which could benefit Southern Virginia field advantage-wise if they can get a good, solid return here. And returning that for Southern Virginia was number 23, Jake Wood. And so Southern Virginia will start this offensive possession at their own 38-yard line. And Southern Virginia, you got to do something more. You've had a couple of those good plays to the outside, those pass plays to the far side of the field, where it's been quick, you're able to get Shumway, get the ball out of his hands. But you got to have something up going with the running game. You got to open up some running lanes. You got to be able to give Shumway some time to make some deeper throws down the field and give your other receivers an opportunity to make some plays.
Well, at Maryville, their defense does a good job of noticed in a game versus.
And Shumway going to pass to the right side. Hard hit, brought down, but that is number 46. As Malik Jones on the reception. And you were saying, Jared? Oh, yeah, no, versus LaGrange and Greensboro, the coaches noticed, if there was a missed tackle, there was 3, 4, 5 guys swarming to the ball. So, if one guy misses a tackle, it's no big deal. They've got it wrapped up. They've got 3 or 4 guys right there to handle it. So now
like you said, it's got to be quick.
Absolutely. So 2nd down and 2 for Southern Virginia near midfield. Got to make a play here. Here's Jake Wood on the run. He's brought down at the line of scrimmage.
Carried by the Knights, number 23, Jacob Wood.
Bringing him down from Maryville, that was number 14, Devon White. He got back there, and he got his hands on Jake Wood, but didn't quite, get to being a tackle. He just held him back. Impressive determination right there, and impressive strength on his part. So now 3rd down and 2. The Knights bring in Cade Nelson in the backfield. Two receivers on the near side, 2 on the far side. Shumway back to pass, looks to his left side. He's got Washington, who is absolutely rocked before the 1st down marker. My goodness. The hit from Justin King. Washington didn't have a chance to make a play on that one.
Yeah, those are plays where your receiver won't like you very much. I've done that before. And you throw one of those balls and your receiver comes back to the huddle and he's not very happy. He completed the ball, but if it was on his outside shoulder and didn't have to turn him around, could have had a good chance of getting that 1st down.
And so it'll be a 4th down and about half a yard. And so in this situation, again, the Scots have had back-to-back great drives. Both the running game and the passing game has been very effective for you so far. At this point, I know you're in your own side of the field, but I feel like you have to have some production from your offense. You have to get the 1st down. You have to keep your defense on the silence for a little bit to give them a rest, to kind of figure out what they can do. And so, again, if it's me, I'm tempted to go for it on 4th down. At least tempted. At least entertain the idea. Figure out what may be able to work. Maybe get Cade Nelson there because, again, he's one of those backs where if he gets to the line of scrimmage and just falls forward, he's going to gain 1 or 2 yards.
As a quarterback myself, I've always been a fan of the silent count, and only you and the center know.
Right.
You tap his butt, and he snaps the ball, and you dive forward, especially in a short yardage situation like this.
They'll be in the gun for this play instead, a tight formation. They are going to try the hard count. I believe they're going to try a pooch punt once again. This will be a shorter punt, but it's going to take a friendly bounce inside the 10, inside close to the 5. And that's indeed where it will sit at the 5-yard line of Maryville. So the Knights electing to play more of that field position battle, trusting their defense, which again has been the identity for Southern Virginia for the past couple of years. Ever since head coach Militalo has been here, Southern Virginia's defense has been the staple of this team. So you got to trust in that culture, trust in their ability to figure things out defensively.
Like you mentioned earlier, I think trying to play the field position game against these guys is a good strategy initially, and hopefully it pays here.
Southern Virginia's got to get some pressure, though. The running game going forward for about 3 yards. That is Tad Logan Jr. Again, Logan Jr. and Dunson have just done a great job of finding the running lanes, been very patient in letting the play develop. It'll actually be a gain of about 4 yards to make it 2nd down and 6. A long 6. Rollins in the gun. Very tight formation. He's going to hand it off once again to Logan Jr. And he's got the 1st down and a little bit more. Going to bring it out to about the 20-yard line. So just like that, that great punt is negated by the great running attack from Maryville.
And hopefully they can make a stand right here. But, yeah, Maryville's, it says they've averaged about 130, 140 yards a game. You'd like to see that be up in the 150, but right now it will be a problem for Maryville. But hopefully for SVU they can buckle down and keep them inside.
It's now 1st down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Trips right. They're going to hand off to Logan once again. He's going to get maybe a yard on that one. And so you're starting to kind of see, again, this is more of an air raid offense at times. They're really able to spread the ball out, but right now they're recognizing, hey, if we can run the ball, let's do that. Let's not try to outsmart ourselves a little bit. Let's do what works. Let's roll with it. And then if we need to change things up, we will.
Well, and you've got, looks like 5-10 mile an hour wind, and that plays a part in your passing attack as well.
Rollins going to pass to the right side, wide receiver screen. And being run out of bounds after a couple of yards is number 5. That is Corey Russell. In fact, he's going to gain about 5 yards on that reception, or 3 yards, I should say. Make it 3rd down and 5. Southern Virginia's been able to get Maryville in these 3rd down situations where like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 8, and it's those situations that you want to be in defensively. But Maryville has been able to have some great play calling on these downs.
And the way they've been running, it wouldn't be surprised if they.
Rollins throws a quick pass for a 1st down. That is caught by number 16. That is Jaden Jones. I also love the fact that in Division III football, or at least in this conference, we don't see a lot of tight end usage in the passing game, whereas Maryville, they're using everybody. These are receivers, tight ends. I love to see that kind of football.
Yeah, when you look at the stat sheet, there's so many receivers. There's 4 receivers, over 150 yards on the year, and then there's about 10, 12 guys that have caught balls. I mean, you can't beat that.
Here's Rollins looking for a deep ball. He's got a man down the field. It's underthrown, and it looks like it's picked off by Southern Virginia. Picked off by number 4, Seth Massey. You needed a big play, you needed a stop, and you got it right there. And so he has the deep ball. See, he has a step on his defensive, or on the cornerback here. And so if he just throws a little bit further, he would have had a huge gain, if not a touchdown. But the fact that it was slightly underthrown allows Massey to get underneath it and get that touchdown.
Yeah, and
or that interception, I should say.
It's hard to say, but how much the wind played a factor in that. But it did seem like the ball was slowing down, and it wasn't a perfect spiral, so that'll affect it. And the safety was able to come up. That.
And I think Rollins had been looking at that route the entire play. He was looking down the field and waited to pass downfield. Here's Wood. He's going to go forward for about a gain of 6 yards.
Yeah, he was he was definitely staring that down the whole play, but I think he knew his guy could beat him, and he was behind the coverage, so just not the perfect ball.
So now 2nd down. They're going to say it was a gain of 7 actually. So 2nd down and a long 3. Or 2nd down and 4 for Southern Virginia. You got to capitalize right here. You finally get a stop. Shumway passes across the middle to Washington. He jukes out a defender. He gets past midfield. The biggest play for Southern Virginia so far today.
Yeah, that was huge. You needed a big play like that, a big first down play. Just haven't had that yet, and that was good. That was good.
And the yards after the catch as well, seeing his fellow receiver come across the middle, knowing that the cornerback was following him, able to juke him out, get some extra yardage inside Scott territory. First down and 10. Hand off to Wood again. He's got to bounce it out to the outside. Evades the defender. Southern Virginia's running game all of a sudden having some life in it. And the shiftiness of Wood really able to help them out so far in this drive.
That'll bring up 2nd and 5 for the Knights.
Yeah,
So
hopefully this will get the offense fired up, and just they got to keep rolling. Again, the coaches talked about capitalizing on opportunities this week, and this would be huge.
And if they're able to get things rolling in this drive, they want to be able to carry that momentum into the next 3 quarters because, again, or I guess quarter and a half, because, again, they've had a really big problem of playing consistently all 4 quarters of the game. Wood stiff-arming, getting some extra yardage, making it a 3rd down and 2.
Carried by the Knights, number 23, Jacob Wood. Brought down at the 37-yard.
The Knights seeing a lot of openings on that outside. Wood doing a great job of expanding plays.
That'll bring up 32 for the Knights.
Again, 3rd down and 2 for Southern Virginia. They're going to hand off to Nelson up the middle, and he's got the first down, and his legs are still pumping. All the way out to the 32-yard line. We're finally seeing a push from the Southern Virginia offensive front.
First down.
Yeah, and whenever you have a big play like we had there a few plays back, I mean that always gets you amped up, and you got to want it. You really got to want it, and everything, as we know, it starts on the line, and if you don't get a push, a lot of it's not going to happen.
So first down and 10 for Southern Virginia. Deeper into Scott territory than they have been all game long so far. Shumway going to pass to the outside, tipped, still caught. That'll be a first down for Southern Virginia. That was caught by number 85. That is Oliver Bird, the freshman wide receiver from Snellville, Georgia. Pass a little underthrown, but friendly bounce.
Yeah, and Champion, he barely missed that. I mean, that was there's some luck there, but he was able to catch that and make a play. But
if he's able to get just a little bit higher, that's going back the other way to the house.
Yep.
So first down, Southern Virginia. Shumway tried to take it himself, but tripped up. I don't know if he tripped on Langtree's ankles or if he just slipped on the turf. But that'll be the first negative play of this drive for the Knights.
Brought down in the backfield by number 14, Devon White. Loss of 2 on the play.
So it will indeed be a loss of 2 yards, 2nd and 12.
Yeah, it looked like he pulled that out late. Those are hard reads. They really are. Easier said than done, but looked like he pulled it out a little late, and like you said, to kind of slip there. Unfortunately, took a little loss.
Shumway has Langtree in the backfield, trips right. Johansson to the left side. He wanted Johansson to go further down the field on a fade route to the front corner of the end zone. A little bit of miscommunication there because Johansson wanted to settle on that outside zone.
Yeah, and at quick glance, they may have been in cover 2, and that would have been perfect. Right as he passes the DB, we called it a side pocket shot in between the safety and the corner, and that would have been a perfect ball. But.
So now 3rd down and 12. So after several explosive plays, you have a negative play and an incomplete pass. Southern Virginia needs something here. Shumway back to pass. Got pressure from his right side. Still got time. Rolls out to his right side. He might have to run with it. able to get back to line of scrimmage. A hard collision near the line of scrimmage. He was hit by number 36, Nate Carwile. Gains back a yard. So now, again, after you've had a promising drive, now you're in a tough situation, 4th down and 11.
Brought down by the Scots, number 36.
Yeah, that secondary was, they had, you could almost call that a coverage sack. Wasn't quite a sack, but man, the defense, they had everybody locked up.
3 receivers on the near side. Wood was in the slot, but now comes back into the backfield. Shumway back to pass. He's got pressure on the left side. He's going to pass to the right. Incomplete. That was intended for number 2, Chase Wester. So turnover on downs after the promising start to that drive. Southern Virginia will turn it over on downs, not capitalizing on that interception.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, I guess the silver lining of that is that we were able to move the ball, you know,
Exactly.
and unfortunately didn't work out. But, you know, got almost into the red zone, and I think that was huge mentally. That's just like, all right, we can move the ball. Let's do this. And, of course, we just got to finish it next time.
Absolutely, because again, football, among other things, is also a mental game, and you got to prove to yourself that you can do or make certain plays in the game, like at the great running game they had early on. A handoff, a 1st down gain as Braden Dunson, a gain of about 12 yards. But again, when it comes to a high-powered offense like Maryville, when you get opportunities, you have to take advantage. I mean, obviously, yes, you have to feel good about yourself at getting the ball moving, but you have to capitalize and put points on the board. So 1st down and 10 at Maryville's own 33-yard line.
Well, that's a great play for Dunson. He's fast enough. You get him out on the edge, you know, with speed, a jet sweep like that.
Rollins, that's tipped at the line of scrimmage. That was broken up by number 33, Cole Oldham, I should say, junior from West Valley City, Utah. That's the first time that any night defensive lineman has been able to get their hand on a pass like that.
Yeah, you need to be able to disrupt Rollins there. If he gets too comfortable, you know, it's an easy game. It's an easy game for him. The confidence is through the roof.
And if you're not able to get into the backfield again, at least make yourself bigger, make the passing lanes harder for him to see through. Dunson got another carry, and he's fighting for extra yardage. He's going to make it a manageable 3rd down. They're going to say he was down a couple yards shorter than where his body ended up. I think they're going to say that his knee was down and just crawled his way further ahead.
Yeah, I believe so.
So now, defensively for Southern Virginia, you force the turnover. Your offense had a long drive. You're able to get a rest. That means you should be able to try to make a play here, force a turnover on down, so they have not been able to do that so far today. Hand off to Dunson once again. He's going to get the 1st down easily, and then forced out of bounds by Knights number 1, Jamar Robinson.
Yeah, the guard, it looked like the guard pulled on that and just led the way, and one thing they were working on in practice was having that linebacker, that defensive end, blow up that power, block the fullback, and then have the linebacker come up and fill that gap and make that tackle. But you can tell they're getting pushed down.
And I think that Kimani Vaivai was in the backfield and could have made a play, but again, like you said, the pulling guard able to take care of him. Rollins back to pass, rolling to his right. Pass nearly incomplete, tackled right away. That is number 37, Roberto Balboa.
Brought down on the 45-yard line, loss of 2 on the play, penalty flag on the play.
Finally a negative play for the Scots of Maryville. But there is a penalty flag on the field, in the backfield.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the
Both penalties be on Maryville, so holding. So they're going to take the loss of yardage instead of the penalty, and also the loss of down that comes with that play. I think that's a smart move. You want to get them off the field. You have a negative play. But apparently laundry all over the field for Maryville in that play.
Yeah, not exactly what you want to see, you know, for them or from the coaches, but you know, you'll have a few of those each game for sure, but try to minimize those as much as possible.
So 2nd down and 12 for the Scots. Fake the handoff, Rollins back to pass. Finds an opening and completes it inside Knight territory, still running with it. Still on his feet is number 5, Corey Russell. Really fighting for that extra yardage. Stops in the negative play. I mean, he did a really great job of settling in that open space.
Yep, and I wasn't, you know, we may have been playing zone, and that's the thing. You just got to settle. Of course, he was scrambling. Quarterback was scrambling, but, you know, you just got to find that zone and settle, and don't run into the defense. You just find that zone, and that was perfect.
It's now 1st down and 10. Yard line. Rollins back to pass once again. Looks to his left. Throws across the middle of the field. Incomplete. That was intended for number 17, Steph Carter Jr., just slightly overthrown.
Number 17, Steph Carter.
I think you also may have heard footsteps a little bit too.
Yeah, that was. I think he may have led him a little too far. Of course, that's easy for us to say, but it was a good route though. You know, looked like the left receiver, sideline receiver ran a go, and he ran a 10-yard post and just out of his reach.
2nd down and 10 for the Scots. Fakes the handoff once again. He had pressure, but able to complete it out to the 19-yard line. That was complete to number 86, Danner Hill.
Pass complete to the Scots.
Yeah, finally some pressure. And you gotta get to the quarterback, even if you don't sack him, even if you don't knock the ball out of his hands, just to get it in his mind that he's gonna be feeling some pressure, and that weighs on you over time. But right now he's firing all cylinders, and the offensive line has got his back.
Because, again, when you get that pressure like that, like you said, it makes you make quick and sometimes bad decisions. Rollins so far making great decisions today, except for that one interception. And he fumbles. It was stripped out of his hands. And it looks like Rollins is able to recover his own fumble. So that makes 3 fumbles, 2 from Maryville, but 3 in total, and none of them have ended up in a turnover so far.
Well, that seems to be the theme all year for them. They've had 5 fumbles, but they've only lost 1. So this kind of continues the trend. They may lose the ball, but they get it right back.
So now 2nd down and 17. Big loss on that previous play. They're going to hand it off. And he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. That was number 28, Tad Logan Jr. And so I think Maryville kind of realized, hey, we kind of got away from ourselves a little bit here. What was working earlier was the running game. Let's go back to that, especially if we're in a backed-up situation like this. Makes it 3rd down and 9.
You know, they've got enough weapons receiving-wise that they can do that. But maybe they will go back to just running because they have had such success this first half.
Rollins back to pass, looks to his right side. He's going to run up the middle. He's got plenty of space. And he's going to run untouched into the end zone. Touchdown, Scots. And that's also hard, too, when you have a great passing attack with a quarterback that can also run the ball. Who do you have spying on the quarterback? Who do you have stay in the middle and keep an eye on him to where he doesn't torch you like that?
Yeah, and there may have been a busted play on that, but the DBs had the receivers locked up, but there probably was a linebacker that could have been spying him, but did not. But you know, they run good routes, and that's the thing. A kind of a flood to the right side of the field, and which let it perfectly open for him to run in for the touchdown. That was a good play.
So Southern Virginia will call a timeout before the 2-point conversion, of course, because they missed extra point earlier today. They want to bring it to 21-0. Right now it stands 19-0 with 2.5 minutes left to play in this first half. Up until that play, Southern Virginia had shut out the Scots in the second quarter, much improving from the first. But again, that last play, the Red Sea just opened up in front of Rollins. He saw nothing but green, and he thought, you know what, I'm just going to waltz into the end zone. And he was not touched whatsoever. And while we have this quick little break, I want to remind you, you're watching this on the Knights Broadcasting YouTube channel. We appreciate you tuning with us today for homecoming. Be sure to give us a like. Let us know how we're doing in the comment section down below. And be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you're up to date on all things Southern Virginia athletics. Again, the 2-point attempt from Maryville. Some of the refs on the far side are discussing some things as we begin this attempt, waiting for the whistle to blow. they will attempt the 2-point conversion. Rawlings looks to his right side, he's going to have some pressure. And that's too far to the outside, so the score will stay 19-0 in favor of the Scots of Maryville, able to get some great pressure. But also, real quick, I want to remind you, there are other teams for both of these universities in action today. Women's volleyball for Southern Virginia is playing against William Peace at noon today, or I guess it started at noon. And William Peace being the #1 team in the USA South Conference, Southern Virginia being #2. So that's a huge matchup. And they also play again against Meredith at 4 p.m. today. And for Maryville, their women's volleyball team will host 2 teams at home. And they'll both face off against Berry College. Well, that'll be men's cross country, I should say. Maryville will be hosting the Maryville College Invitational. Men's and women's soccer both hit the road for the respective matchups as well. So a lot of games happening for both these universities. We'll make sure you all are aware of those happening today because, again, being homecoming week for Southern Virginia, a lot of games happen this week as part of the festivities. A lot of great things happening on campus. So with that, again, 19-0 lead for Maryville. Offense is running very effectively, aside from that 1 interception. A lot of things to discuss at halftime. Of course, you still have 2.5 minutes left to play in this first half, but a lot of things to discuss regardless. Here's Wood on the return. And he's going to bring it out close to the 30-yard line. In fact, it'll be the 28-yard line, and that's when the Knights will set up shop.
Yeah, this drive will be key. You know, especially having received the ball in the first half to start the game. You really got to make this drive count, get your 2-minute drill going, and you know, really at least get. Obviously, you want a touchdown, but if you can at least get some points on the board with at least a field goal, but you got to, you know, ideally it'd be nice to get a touchdown. You know, use all your time and leave none, leave a few seconds, if none, for Maryville before you go into the half.
And again, just capitalize on what worked in your last possession, ride that momentum. As Wood trying to bounce things to the outside and swarming to the ball as Maryville's defense finishing off that tackle was #3, Cameron Spivey. We're approaching 2 minutes left in this half. That is a loss of 2 yards for the Knights.
Yeah, and you know, we haven't had success through the air, so you know, you gotta think that their defense as well. You know, we're gonna force them to run, and you know, they've still got timeouts left and have plenty of time to get the ball back, and you don't want that for SVU.
But again, with the passing attack, though, is that the Knights haven't really taken any deep shots today. It's all been short passes to the outside, wide receiver screens. Here's Langtree on the carry, and he's not going to really get anything after that carry. Make it 3rd down and 11. Obviously, right now is not the ideal situation to try to take a deep shot, but when you get the ball moving, you know, you got to try it at some point down the field. I know that Maryville's defense has been very imposing, and the defensive line has really gotten pressure on the opposing quarterbacks. But at the same time, if you don't take shots down the field, you're never going to make big shots down the field. It's like Wayne Gretzky says, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yep. Well, and then, you know, those corners start to slide up. You know, they get within 10 yards. Now you've got you don't have 11 people in the box, but you've got 11 guys within 10 yards, and that's not doing anything for you. You've got to, you know, and let them know we can still run some deep routes on you, but right now they're keeping everything in front of them, and there's nothing to really have to worry about.
And honestly, if you ask me, you have a couple receivers who have a height advantage on some of these defensive backs for Southern Virginia. You have #80, Chase Pope, #14, Woodson Francois. You also, of course, have Matt Johansson, who has a height advantage. And so if you can't get people open in spaces down the field, try to create some jump ball opportunities, right? Get it to where only a receiver can get to it, and just give yourself a chance in that passing attack. And so 3rd down and 11 for the Knights of Southern Virginia. 1:32 left in this half. Shumway back to pass, got some pressure. He's going to be brought down in the backfield, no time whatsoever. That's brought down by #0, Mike Bethea, the freshman defensive lineman from Maryville, Tennessee. And so Maryville will call a timeout, getting the big stop. Bethea is one of those players we expect to see some things before the game began. Again, getting that sack against Southern Virginia. That's the first or the second time that they've really been able to get to Shumway. The first time was earlier in the first quarter when he fumbled it and was able to recover his own fumble. But now 4th down and 20, a minute and a half. Kind of like what you're saying, Jared, what they can't do is give Maryville the ball back with this much time. And a minute and a half is plenty for the Scots offense.
Yeah, that's definitely plenty because they can throw and they can run. So, they may run a play or two, may rush a few plays, but, they'll throw it. And right now they've got plenty of confidence to do that. So there's really nothing in my mind. If they get the ball at midfield, that's plenty of time for them.
And so they will absolutely attempt a pooch punt after they try to get them to come off sides. You got to have a deep punt here. You got to do some of it. And Southern Virginia calls their 3rd and final timeout of the first half. And again, like you said, Maryville, they can run the ball a couple of plays because they still have 2 timeouts in their back pocket. Minute and a half, that is no problem, especially if you don't get a great punt from Shumway. If you don't get a solid punt, if you don't at least get it to Maryville's own 45 or 40-yard line, I mean, that's basically a done deal. You could probably just expect, unless you make a big play, for Maryville to do something with that offensive possession.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time to have a few running plays, and you can send a bunch of verticals and then just a halfback draw, and have them run for 10, 15 yards, and then throwing a pass there, and now you're down to the 10-yard line, and you still got plenty of time with 1 timeout.
I'm honestly surprised they really haven't brought on the official punt team. Shumway's been doing the punting duties today for the Knights. And this is going to be a short punt. Gets to Maryville's side of the field, so kind of around the range where we kind of want, around the 45-ish. So that is kind of where you would like to be. Obviously, you'd like to be further back if you can. But for what you have available to you, that's not a bad place to put it. Now, Southern Virginia's defense, you just gave up a long drive. Your offense wasn't really able to do much. Of course, you had the timeouts to really give you some time to rest and think about what you can do. Now at this point, you can't have anything behind you. Keep everything in front of you for your defensive back. No deep passes down the field. Keep everything in front and keep everything in bounds if you can. Rollins passes to the right side. And getting it out of bounds was Braden Dunson escaping from the backfield. And a quick 1st down play and getting out of bounds and stopping the clock.
Yep, you want to, as a defensive back, you want to keep your eyes on your receiver. Of course, you got to worry about that guy, about the quarterback running. He's good enough, elusive runner. You got to worry about him.
Rollins to pass. He's going to take off with it. He's got speed. He's going to aim for the out of bounds. He's got a blocker ahead of him. Well executed play. I love the block downfield from number 80, Tristan Wright. He saw his quarterback about to run. He knew they needed to get out of bounds, stop the clock. Well executed there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of pressure. He had to step up in the pocket, but, nothing that you couldn't really handle, and the guys are running verticals and posts, and he's got plenty of green grass to run. And like you said, great blocking by the receiver.
A minute and 5 seconds left in this second quarter. Rollins looks to his right. Throw across his body to the 10-yard line. That's complete. He makes a defender miss. Another defender miss, and he's going to get in the end zone. Touchdown, Scots. That drive took about 30 seconds for the Scots in order to accomplish that one. So, again, this offense just absolutely clicking on all. And the Knights defense not really having a response.
No, and that receiver he ran looked like he ran a fly. He ran a go route. And then saw that his quarterback was a little bit in trouble, and he came back, broke it off, and Rollins found the open guy. And then it was just pure tackling after that, which SVU did not do.
It's now 25-0, point after pending. The kick is blocked by Southern Virginia. So another special teams mishap for Maryville. They missed the first PAT on their first touchdown. That one is blocked, makes the score 25-0. Not a score you typically see in a football game.
Looked like that was possibly Inoki Kalfusi on that block. Big man.
So again, you needed something a little bit positive going to the locker room. If you're at least able to get those kind of plays, special teams plays, getting a blocked field goal. And with 55 seconds left, there's not much you can do offensively unless you take a couple shots down the field. which Southern Virginia has not done so far today. And here is that touchdown again. Rollins had to step up in the pocket, had to throw across his body to the far sideline, and making 3 defenders miss in the process. I mean, there was 3 opportunities for Southern Virginia defenders to bring him down inside the 10 inbounds, but not able to do so.
Yeah, the only good thing that may come out of this is if really you got to get a good return. You know,
Absolutely.
if you can get possibly to midfield, you know, then you've got about 40, 45 seconds. Then you can run some things, you know, but you got to have a good return. You got to get a 30, 40-yard return just to kind of have a chance right here before halftime, and just get some positive momentum as well.
And you have to attack the sideline because you only have 1 timeout. Both teams only have 1 timeout. And the wind being a bit of a factor here as Maryville has to have a holder for this kickoff.
That's a good kick.
Deep kick. Drake Washington fielding it at his own 1-yard line. He's got it laying down on the near side. Brings it out to about the 24. Looks like it's going to be a late hit on Maryville. Look at Drake Washington kind of giving himself up. Gone out of bounds, but was hit. Waiting to hear the official announcement of the penalty, but it's pretty evident that that's what it is.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, made hit out of bounds. On the kicking team, number 88, 15-yard penalty.
Guilty of that is number 88, Terrence Elliott, the freshman wide receiver from Griffin, Georgia. And so you either needed a good return or you needed a penalty to help you out, which those.
Got one of them.
So that'll be a 15-yard penalty, and Southern Virginia will start this possession at their own 44-yard line, or 38-yard line, I should say, 39-yard line.
Yeah, and that's huge versus starting at like the 25, you know, or 24, 23. Now you get a 10, 15-yard completion. Now you're in business.
Got 2 receivers on the far side.
Run the zone.
Fake the handoff.
Oh.
That pass is high and complete.
Pass complete to number 88, Clinton Boxley.
That was Boxley on the reception for the Knights. Make it a gain of 5. Time is winding down. Pass is a little high, come from Shumway. They're going to hand it off to Wood. And he's going to gain about 2 yards on that carry. And Southern Virginia will call a timeout with just 19 seconds left. They may add some time because I believe they may have called a timeout with about 21 seconds.
Brought down by the Scots, number 0, Mike Bethea, and number 36, Nate Carwell.
And so the Scots, again, your offense is clicking. You have 4 touchdowns in this first half. Southern Virginia really not having any response to the passing game. And the big thing for me, though, that I've seen from Maryville that's really standing apart from Southern Virginia is their ability to improvise offensively. Rollins being able to move around in the pocket. The receivers really able to break away from their routes and find openings in the field and away from defenders. That's the main difference maker right now for both these offenses, of course, because, again, those lead to big plays that Maryville has capitalized on today.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, as an offense, you're always going to have a little bit of an upper hand because you know what you're doing, and defense is reacting, essentially. But, yeah, they just do a good job of breaking off routes. And quarterback, you know, obviously has the confidence to be able to throw and be able to run when he can. So, yep, they're clicking.
3rd down and 3 for Southern Virginia, 19 seconds remaining in the half. Woods will be back for pass protection. Not quite sure exactly what happened there with Shumway. The ball left his hand and it just, I swear, it quacked a little bit. I think I heard the sound from here. I think he tried maybe holding it back at the last second and couldn't keep his hands on it, or?
Yeah, that was tough. It looked like he was throwing a 5-10 yard out, and there really wasn't anyone there. So we'll have to look at the film on that and see what actually happened, but possibly miscommunication in routes.
So now 4th down and a long 2. You really have no choice but to go for it right now. Trying to get something out of nothing. And that'll be a false start for the Knights. And the guilty party is number 63. That is Hugo Ortega-Sanchez, the freshman. And that'll back up the Knights and make this already tough 4th down attempt even tougher.
Yeah, and you know, in my mind, I would just try to punt it, you know, and at least give yourself 30, 40 yards from there. Don't let Maryville get it here, because there's the way things have been going. They've had a lot of success in throwing, and 2 plays they could be in the end zone.
Yeah, and Maryville still has 1 timeout as well. I mean, their last touchdown drive took 30 seconds off the clock, so they will do another pooch punt, pin them very deep, a friendly Southern Virginia bounce. It might roll into the end zone, and in fact it does. So a touchback with leaving just 8 seconds on the clock. You imagine the Maryville's just going to kneel it out, get to the second half. I mean, when your offense is performing as it is, you don't want to take any dumb risks that possibly gives the Knights some momentum going into halftime.
Yeah, no need really for that.
So again, that's what you should expect to see as a kneel down here. We should have some halftime festivities from both the dance and cheer squads of Southern Virginia University. We also have the band here from the Knights Music Department. Should be a very fun halftime performance. But again, Southern Virginia is just having a hard time responding offensively. The defense really struggling with the improvisation skills of Maryville's offense. And so we'll look to see if they'll make those adjustments at halftime. I can imagine some ears will be burning after the halftime speech from a lot of these coaches on the coaching staff. But Maryville, again, doing a great job in the passing game, running attack, a very complete offense right now that you can't say enough about, honestly.
Yeah, they're clicking on firing all cylinders, and SVU's not helping the cause by just their tackling is not really they're not doing a great job of that, and really not really swarming too much to the ball. They just need to be disciplined. Those are things that are correctable, and like you said, there's probably some ears burning. But again, maybe they need to have a spy on the quarterback, because he's going to get out and he's going to keep doing the same thing. And they've got full confidence right now in everyone there on the offense. So.
Absolutely, and so with that, we will take a short break for the halftime festivities. We'll be right back. Please enjoy Southern Virginia's homecoming activities here. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause and welcome back to the field our very own Southern Virginia University Marching Knights. Performing the classical art of battle of Texas. What do you like about you? change in the north end zone for the Grace Automotive Punt, Pass, and Kick Contest. Our two contestants today, Braden Burrow, a junior from Maryville, Virginia, and Scott DePay, a freshman from Pleasantville, Utah, will attempt to punt, pass, and kick their way down the field. If a field goal is made, they will win a free oil change from Grace Automotive. Good luck, Braden and Scotty. Let's cheer them on.
Let's go, Scott! Yeah! Let's go, Scott!
The field goal is good. And that is good as well. Great job, Braden and Scotty. You have both won a free oil change. Grace Automotive is a one-stop shop for all your automotive needs. Night fans receive a 10% discount for free service and performance automotive. Located at 1930 Magnolia Avenue in Buena Vista.
And we are back for the second half. We hope you enjoyed the festivities here at the fields of Southern Virginia University. Had some great performances from the bands. Also had the dance and cheer squads with some great work. Had some fun contests that took place. And got some good food, too. Some good old jalapeno. Riding up your Saturday for sure.
No denying that.
And so score stands right now 25-0. Southern Virginia won the coin toss to begin the game and elected to receive. So the Scots will take the second half kickoff and look to continue their offensive onslaught that they've had. Looking at quarterback Bryson Rollins from Maryville, he is 13 of 16, 81% completion percentage, 207 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's a great stat for a whole game in general, much less a first half.
Yeah, right. Yeah, first half. 239 QBR rating. I mean, you know, on the year he was at 53%. We had talked about before the game, you know, needed to get, I think, you know, you get up in that 60% range, you know, you're doing good completion percentage, and obviously he's well over that, so looking good for them.
So here's the kickoff to start the second half. Returning it.
Ooh.
And dropped right at the 26-yard line. That was number 2, Wyatt Ruckerson, a junior wide receiver from Greenback, Tennessee.
Yep. We've got some extracurricular activities. Look like number 30 here on SVU.
Number 30, that's Alex Langtree.
Yeah.
And again, when you have a game like this, I mean, for Southern Virginia, it's their homecoming. Things haven't gone well offensively or defensively. And so tensions are going to run high. And actually going to call unnecessary roughness number 35, that being Mike Brown, the sophomore from Leesburg, Virginia. And so that'll move Maryville up into very favorable position at their own 42-yard line. And not only was Maryville able to do a lot of things through the air, they also do a lot of things on the ground as well. Dunson with 43 yards and Logan Jr. with 43 as well. And then Rollins chiming with 22 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. And that rush from Logan Jr. able to go for a first down. So not really skipping a beat from what happened in the first half.
No, you know, although on that one, I wasn't sure if that was Kaimani, but just trying to establish the edge there. He got out there, but, you know, Logan is just too quick to bounce that out around him.
So first down and 10 at Southern Virginia's 45-yard line. Rollins fakes the handoff. He's got pressure coming from the corner. Nearly tripped up, still on his feet. And he's going to throw it away. In the area was number 5. That being Corey Russell. Corey Russell made a couple of solid plays in the first half, including one wide receiver screen where he was able to break a couple of tackles.
You know, and that was probably an opportunity for Rollins to run. He probably could have got it 6-7 yards. I mean, there was some defenders up close there, but I think he could have scrambled a little more for that. But
I agree with you, and him showing his speed, outrunning 2 defenders who were diving at his feet, trying to trip him up. So second down and 10. He's going to hand off to the right side. Plenty of space for Dunson, able to get close to a first down. But there is a flag on the field near the original line of scrimmage. And that'll be a holding. The guilty party of that is number 75, Jace Britton, the senior offensive lineman from Cherryville, North Carolina. So what was a massive run play turns to a play of negative 10 yards.
And actually, our linebacker, Elijah Tassini, he came up and got a hand on him, slowed him down just a bit, but hopefully he can, you know, they can, again, kind of set that edge and keep them from bouncing outside.
So second down and 20 at their own 45. Rollins looks to his right side. He's got a wide receiver screen. Got a good blocking up front, but only a gain of a couple for number 17, Steph Carter Jr. He's going to gain 5 of those lost yards back, make it third down and 15.
And that was a nice hit there by Tassini. And I think that's what SVU needs, that fire. They need to bring that every play and try to lay the wood.
Knights fans,
So now, starting the second half, this defense for Southern Virginia, you're in a great position here. You can force a turnover, or force a punt, I should say. Quick pass to the right side. Just got to make some tackles. Great blindside, well, not a blindside block, but a great block on the side. That was number 75 with that block. That being Jace Britton, who was just a little bit ago guilty of that holding penalty. So now 4th down and 10 as they bring it back to the original line of scrimmage.
And that was a good play by Sanders. He saw his 2 blockers, 2 linemen coming from his left side, and had 1 defender to beat, and so did a great move and cut back behind to the left of let his lineman come in front and take out the blocker, or take out the DB, and got some extra yardage. It was good vision.
We see Jaden Jones coming into the game from Maryville. He's got a couple of receptions in this game. Rollins back to pass, a little bit of pressure on the outside. Rollins going to run for it, and he's going to be forced out of bounds. I believe he will have the first down, and indeed he will. And that's got to be a little demoralizing as a defense. You have a 4th down and 10, and they're able to convert on that play.
Forced out of bounds by the Knights, number 7, Jacob Tuloa.
Yeah, and Tui Nakuvadra almost had him. Just running him down, just could not get away from that tackle and not get off that block in time. Almost had him, though.
So now 1st down and 10 at the Knights' 35-yard line. Rollins is going to hand off to Logan Jr., and he's going to go forward for about a gain of 6 or 7.
Ball carried by the
Late flag coming in on the near side.
Brought down by the Knights, number 99, Kimani Bye-Bye.
Maybe the ref didn't like what he saw after the play, as things have been a little chippy to start this half.
Yeah, usually those kind of things will happen, because I'm sure the coaches didn't see a lot of fire, from SVU that half, and so of course you want to come out, you want to make a statement, and but you want to do it within the rules.
Personal foul, hands to the face, offense number 44, offense number 63. Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 44. Those penalties offset, repeat first down.
So, again, offsetting penalties. First one was on number 63, Jamari Stewart, the sophomore offensive lineman from Atlanta, Georgia. And the other on number 44 for Southern Virginia being Tuna Kavadra. So, play basically is just a canceled out play. No loss of down, just still 1st down and 10. With 11 minutes and 33 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. Rollins kind of fumbles with the snap a little bit. And he's close being brought down the backfield. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. Tad Logan Jr. trying to drop to the ground and pick it up from the turf. I believe that they're saying that the ball went through his arms, touched the turf underneath his body, and fell incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like a good catch from here, but I would agree it probably slipped through and just barely hit the turf.
So now 2nd down and 10 for the Scots. He's going to hand off to Dunson. He's got space on the outside. He's going to move forward for about a gain of 7 before he's forced out of bounds.
Man, I
Excuse
like
me, that was Logan on the run.
That fire. Colby Hyder, he came up and met that blocker, I believe, met that tackle, and really gave him a shot. And that's what they need to do, really try to set that edge, and they got to just hold them from getting outside. That's really what's killing them.
Yeah, because run to the outside, like you said, has really been a big problem for Southern Virginia's defense. Both Logan Jr. and Dunson have been able to do so. Doing a little better that time of trying to keep it inside, as Logan Jr. may have been kept short of the 1st down by a yard or 2.
Tackled by the Knights, number 26, Colby Knight.
Well, and that was Hyder again. He came up and, man, just really gave the lineman a shot, and that's what they wanted to do this week, is take out that pulling guard and the fullback. This case there wasn't on that play, and then spill it inside, spill the run back inside to where you've got other tacklers, you got linebackers that are scraping, you got the DBs coming up, and you've got a better shot.
So now 4th down and 2 for the Scots, and it looks like the Scots will like to call a timeout here, approaching 10 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. we're seeing the Scots really take a more methodical approach, relying more on the running game than we saw later in that first half. Because again, early on when they were building up their lead initially, the running game was what got them there. They were able to find those running lanes, able to force it to the outside, able to make the key blocks they needed to, able to get yards after contact. And so right now, again, you're up 25-0, right? Southern Virginia's offense has struggled. And so if you're Maryville, in my opinion, you're just trying to run out the clock, obviously keep scoring, keep putting points on the board, but try to extend these drives to where it can make it more difficult for Southern Virginia's offense to really work with anything, honestly, because by the time they'll get it back, if Maryville scores on this possession, a good solid 5 or 6 minutes will have gone off the clock.
Yeah, and
so 4th down and 2. Our hand off to Logan Jr. He's close to 1st down. I believe he did get it. That's going to be very close. They haven't signaled whether or not he got it yet. Trying to make sure they get the placement right. It's very close. It looks like they will have to bring out the sticks to measure.
Timeout for a measurement.
Well, and like you said earlier, if they can keep the ball out of SVU's hands, you want to have, at least between 9 to 12, hopefully 13, 14 possessions in a game. And, your success rate, you're going to have it 50%, let's say. That's 28, 30 points almost. And, you decrease that, you get 8 possessions a game. That's not going to win you,
right.
Unless you're scoring each possession, which is usually it's pretty highly unlikely. So you're looking at 2 or 3 chances, and then if you don't get that, it's not winning ball games.
And so it will be a 1st down for the Scots. And you talk about time of possession. In the first half, Southern Virginia actually won the time possession battle with 15 minutes and 35 seconds of possession, whereas the Scots had 14 minutes and 29 seconds. Of course, what they did to those possessions was very different.
Ooh.
Met at the line of scrimmage and able to break that tackle. Meeting him was number 10, Alex Sewell, trying to lay down the hammer on that hit. But Dunson able to keep on his feet, but not much further than the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he withstood that hit, but that was the fire they needed to bring. And it looks like the intensity level is a lot different than in the first half, but of course you got to sustain that.
So 2nd down and 10 for the Scots. He's going to throw to the end zone, wide open. Number 80 with the reception. That is Tristan Wright, the junior wide receiver from Rome, Georgia. Just all alone in the back of the end zone. I believe the safety may have lost him back there. Just lost track of him as he saw, Rollins running up. We talked about his ability to run the football, and so he probably got sucked up trying to stop that running play. And Rollins sees that, dumps it right into the end zone.
Yeah, which is very easy to do in this case with a quarterback that can run like that. Be able to put a nice touch on the ball.
It's now a point after pending. It is 31-0 in favor of the Scots. Number 39, Trey Hampton, to attempt the extra point. Another one blocked by Southern Virginia. And then falling on it is number 99, Kimani Vaivai. So that's the 2nd straight point after that Southern Virginia's been able to get their hands on. One of the bright spots for Southern Virginia today.
PAT blocked by number 99, Kimani Vaivai.
So Southern Virginia will get the ball back. And again, in this half, you got to establish something. 31-0 is a tough deficit to come back from. You really have to have everything clicking for you. You have to really lock down defensively. But right now, offensively, you just got to focus on getting positive plays down the field, not hurting yourself, not committing penalties that force you into 2nd and long, 3rd and long situations that force you to be very limited in your playbook.
Yeah, exactly. SVU had 5 first downs the first half, and Maryville with 21. So that tells a story right there, a story.
I mean, ever since that second possession Southern Virginia had, I believe it was the third possession, where they really had something going and it got really far into Maryville territory, it hasn't been very easy for their offense. Jake Wood allowing it to bounce in front of him. Smart decision. He's got a solid return here. He had Drake Washington out in front along with Alex Langtree. He's going to bring it out to about the 25-yard line.
Brought down at the Knight 25-yard line.
Again, I talked about this at the end of the first half, how Southern Virginia has a height advantage of some of the receivers. Again, they have Chase Pope, Woodson Francois. They have, of course, Matt Johansson. They have some guys that have some length to them. Try to see if you can get some deep balls down the field. Try to use that length on them. They're going to hand it off to Cade Nelson. And he's going to fall forward for about a gain of 1. Maryville has done a great job against the power running game that Southern Virginia has tried to establish with Nelson. It's really only the runs from Jake Wood where he's been bouncing it to the outside that have been successful.
Yeah, and again, that's going to be hard to duplicate just because they're bringing their safeties in the corners. I mean, really, safety is about 12 yards deep, linebackers are about 5-6 yards, which is typical, but.
Here's Shumway in the gun, pass it, try to get inside. That was intended for number 88, Clinton Boxley. And talk about the rushing attack. Southern Virginia's running backs have combined for a total of 24 rushing yards in this game so far. It's been really difficult for them to establish that running game, excluding that one drive early in the first half.
And Shumway hasn't had a lot of time to be able to throw. But just like that last pass, quick slants, quick hitches, that's a good way to get some momentum, get some rhythm throws, some timing throws, and get back into it.
3rd down and 8. Shumway is going to try to get it once again to Boxley, and it was behind him. Nearly able to make a one-handed grab, but Southern Virginia will be forced to punt it away once again.
Yeah, I think for this game that'll be the key. If we can get some of those rhythm throws, some of those timing throws, quick outs, quick hitches, quick slants, and force those backers to play a little bit deeper, and let Shumway get some time to throw. We'll be a lot better off.
And that pass also a dangerous one, as I believe number 22 Grant Henderson was right in that area near that passing lane. A poor snap goes underneath the punter's legs, and that's going to be recovered for a touchdown for the Scots. That snap completely going underneath Aiden Hall's legs. I don't know what happened with that snap. I don't know if not enough power on it, whether the long snapper had mishandled that. I don't really know how to explain what just happened there.
Yeah, it looked like it was just a little bit low, and sometimes on this synthetic turf, the ball will slide, will skip a little more than it would on natural grass, and that could have been part of the case.
So now for the point after. And the kick is up. And that time, no blocker got a hold of that one. That one will be good. Make it 38-0 in favor of the Scots. Now, after a play like that, I mean, you have different plays like that all over that you've seen on national television. The first play that comes to mind is the first snap of, I believe, Super Bowl 48, where it was the Broncos and Seahawks, and the snap went over Peyton Manning's head, and that kind of was a tone setter for that game. For Southern Virginia, you can't let that last snap on that punt to be a tone setter for the rest of this half. You got to kind of have short-term memory loss on that, forget that it ever happened, and come back with a better approach offensively. You cannot let that affect you, or else this could really start to go downhill even further, even faster.
Yeah, obviously easier said than done.
Right.
But that's it. I mean, you have to. You can't dwell on it. There's nothing to do except to just fix it and get it done. But these guys can do it. It's it will be a tough climb back into it, but you never know. Crazy things can happen. Crazier things have happened, and you got to believe in each other, believe in themselves, believe in their coaches, and let's go and get it.
Drake Washington to return this one. He's got not a whole lot of blockers in front of him, brings it out to about the 25, 26-yard line. And that's tough right now, returning on that side of the field. As I saw the last return that Jake Wood tried to receive, the sun was in his eye, and you see the sun coming in from the left side of your screen. And so Drake Washington somehow able to see through all of that. It'll actually be at the 24-yard line. And again, like you mentioned, Shumway not having a whole lot of time in the pocket. So far today, he only has 72 passing yards, completing 9 of 15 for a 60 percentage. And fumbled. Shumway rolling out to his right, trying to find somebody, and he's brought down in the backfield. I think Shumway was trying to give it to Cade Nelson, but I think Cade Nelson didn't think that it was being given to him.
Yeah, but Chase Wester was down the field about 20 yards. Wasn't quite open, but of course Shumway had guys in his face, so he wasn't able to see him. I believe Chase was looking to get open. Once you see that, then you see your quarterback scramble. You try to find the open. You run with him, and if you had Shumway didn't have a guy in his face, he could have had him on the sideline there, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
So now 2nd down and 14 after the loss. I can hand it off to Nelson that time. He's going to fall forward for a gain of 1.
Ball carried by number 36.
And again, Southern Virginia is in a very dangerous spot right now with the past couple of plays that have happened for them. The bad snap on the punt, the mishandled read option with Colton Shumway and Cade Nelson. You got to really wrangle in your guys, kind of get them to settle down, calm down a little bit, or else things could just get really ugly in this second half.
Yeah, and that's not fun for anybody. And they don't want to be in that position, but you got to make the best of it.
3rd down and 12 for the Knights. He's going to look deep down the field. Trying to get it to Matt Johansson. We haven't really said his name. Actually, no, that was number 80,
Pope.
Chase Pope, who was intended for. Haven't seen a whole lot of targets go his way today. And 12. And I'd imagine after the last play, they're probably going to keep Shumway out there and do the pooch punts that he's been doing all day.
I believe that's a fair guess.
They'll try the hard count once again, which at this point I feel like Maryville, they're expecting it. So that's not really going to work at this point. Shumway able to get a solid foot on that one. I'm surprised that after all the times that Shumway has done this, that Maryville has not put a returner back there, as that goes inside the 15 to the 12-yard line of the Scots. Because, I mean, for me, if I were coaching this defense a little bit, again, there's a reason why I'm not, but if I were, I would think, okay, Southern Virginia's done this several times today. They've tried to get the hard count, and they've just simply punted it away really quickly. And why not have someone back there? Because it accomplishes two things. If Southern Virginia tries to get a deep shot, you have someone all the way back there to stop it from becoming an even bigger play than it could be. And then also you can have someone make a return and make a play out of it. I'm surprised they haven't made that adjustment.
Now, on the other hand, they also are like, well, we can do kind of whatever we want. So
that's a fair point.
It doesn't matter where we start.
Handing it off.
There you go.
The first time we are seeing number 40, Tevin Thrower, run the ball today, the senior running back from Sylvester, Georgia. Up to this point, it's been the Tad Logan Jr. and Braden Dunson show.
That was good by Stockton and Alex Sewell. Getting to the edge and forcing him back inside, and that's what they need to do. Get off their blocks. The D-line do the best they can to get off their blocks and have the linebackers scraping down and turning him back inside. That was perfect.
So now 2nd down and 9 for the Scots. Handing it off once again to the right side. Even after the contact, able to get a couple of yards, make it a gain of 2 for Thrower.
And see, that's what you want on 2nd down. You want 2nd and 9. Or now we got 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Those are the positions you want to put the offense in. And
that brings up
So now 3rd down and 6. And before this possession, all the rushers or all people who have run the ball for Maryville so far, with Braden Dunson, Tad Logan Jr., Bryson Rollins, and Kevon Samuels, have rushed for a total of 153 yards today. So again, bringing in some other people to run the ball has been good for them. Number 2, Ruckerson, not able to get much. So 4th down, and it looks like the first time that Maryville has punted the ball today. I think a lot of that is due to the fact that Maryville's getting some more substitutions in there, getting some other players some playing time. They have a good handle on this game, so it's always nice to get some younger players or maybe even older players who don't get a lot of playing time into the game. So again, the first time we've seen Trey Hampton back to punt for the Scots. Nearly blocked by Southern Virginia. Drake Washington doing a good job of just getting away from it and not allowing a possibility for a turnover.
Yep.
So now it'll be at Southern Virginia's 30-yard line. The Knights forcing a punt, which again, you like to see at any point in the game.
Yep, and that was, unfortunately for SVU, that was a great punt by Hampton. I mean, that was a way to flip the field. Put SVU kind of in a bind again, even though it is on the 30. Just haven't had much success, but
it's trying to get out of that spot of the field that's been the most difficult thing for them. Again, we've only really seen them get into Scott territory in that 3rd possession of the game. And again, like you said, fantastic punt. He punted that from, I believe, his own 5-yard line. Mm-hmm. Able to down it at the 30. So now 1st down and 10 for the Knights. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this 3rd quarter. Hand it off to Jake Wood. And he's maybe going to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Carried by the Knights, number 23, Jacob Wood.
And indeed, he gets back to the line of scrimmage for maybe a very short gain of about half a yard.
That brings up 2nd and 9.
If you have Drake Washington on this near side, I would maybe like to see a wide receiver screen onto that side if you can get a good solid block in front of him. So they tried a slant route to Washington. It's complete, close to a 1st down.
Pass complete to number 9, Jairee Washington.
They have attempted that play twice before early in the game. Those other 2 passes were intended for number 88, Clinton Boxley. One of the passes was behind him, that time targeting Drake Washington, able to complete it.
Well, that was good because they had, I think it was Jacob Wood, they motioned him, out to the flats, and that brought that linebacker out, which made a perfect throwing lane for Shumway to complete that pass.
So now 1st down and 10 at their own 41. Handing it off to Wood. And right now, Maryville's defense really keying on that run, not letting it go anywhere.
Number 23, Jacob Wood.
I believe in on that tackle was number 76, Taylor Thomas, the senior defensive lineman from Dandridge, Tennessee.
Brought down by the Scots, number 56, Keyshawn C.
So now 2nd down and 10 for the Knights. Shumway's going to try to pass it inside. That was intended for Boxley. Not able to connect on that one. Similar thing to what we saw earlier in the game with them. They haven't really been able to find that connection so far. Just a brief little history lesson for you folks watching at home. One thing I've been really impressed with so far with Maryville is the fact they have their identity. They have an established identity of who they are, what they want to try to do. And Southern Virginia is still trying to find that this season. But a big reason behind, a big part of their identity for Maryville is the fact they have such a long history of college football. Their first season of college football was back in the year 1892. Wow. That's right, I said 18 before the rest of that number, where Southern Virginia had started playing football in 2003. So a lot of history behind Maryville, as that is a first down completion. That is Hyder on that reception. Solid grab near the sideline.
Yeah, that was a really good route. It was a 10-yard out, and he cut that. He broke that off hard, and that's the key. When you're running an out, you don't want to round off your route. You want to cut that off at 90 degrees, get you separation from the DB. That was perfect. That was a good throw by Shumway.
So now they're back in Scott territory for the first time in a while, ever since the first quarter. Shumway looks to his right side. And that was once again intended for Hyder. That one's just a little too high. We've seen a couple of high balls from Shumway today.
Yeah, you know, it's hard. You get a little bit of pressure in your face, even though, you know, he wasn't really going to get sacked. You kind of get he didn't get happy feet, but you get that line pushed back into you just a little bit, and you feel it a little bit, and you rush.
It makes you feel a little claustrophobic, yeah. So now 2nd down and 10 for the Knights. They're going to hand it off to Wood on the outside. He's got a pulling guard. And he's going to push forward, breaking through the crowd for a gain of about 9. I mean, he just straight up appeared out of that just absolute crowd of defenders. Call him a magician because he was one there, and the next moment he was gone.
Yeah, that was a good cutback because he saw the outside where he's not going to get anywhere, and he made that cut and went upfield. And that's what I really like about Jacob Wood is his ability to run downhill and just fall forward and just put a pounding on people.
So now a 3rd down and short.
There you go.
That's on the outside. Phenomenal tackle. That is number 19, Anthony Green. Boxley able to get the reception, though, make it a 1st down despite the solid hit.
Yeah, we needed that. And that's key, you know, as a receiver, you got to know where the sticks are and, you know, run that route to where you're at the 1st down marker or just behind it, and you got it.
The Knights trying to get the snap off before the end of this quarter, 10 seconds. He's going to fake the handoff and take it himself. Get a good solid gain of 6 yards. And that'll bring us to the end of quarter number 3. The score still stands 38-0 in favor of the Scots. The Scots right now pitching a shutout. The Knights putting together a solid drive, trying to change that fact. And in this break, real quick, once again, we want to remind you, you're watching this on the Knights Broadcasting YouTube channel. We thank you for viewing with us today. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, click the notification bell. That way you get notified every single time a Southern Virginia University athletic event goes live. And also, while you're at, be sure to leave us a comment. Let us know how we do, because we appreciate your support, we appreciate your feedback, and we also appreciate our producers and cameramen and all the people who make these broadcasts possible. We are very appreciative of you. And it's been a great program today. Again, even though the game has been very one-sided, to say the least with the score, we've had a lot of fun things happen today. A lot of great plays, a lot of great atmosphere. Students came out in droves for Southern Virginia. Again, today being the homecoming game. It's been a fun atmosphere overall.
Yeah, you hope for homecoming it's a little more a little more positive for the SVU side. But, you know, again, you know, Maryville is well established, and you know, going back to their run defense, you know, the last 4 games they've held of their opponents under 100 yards, and that includes Huntington. And that is picked off, passed way too far inside. I believe that was intended for Jake Wood. Picked off by number 21, Justin King. So just when the Knights were starting to establish a good drive once again. Again, that inside route, that's been a struggle for Shumway today. He's throwing it behind, he's throwing it too short, and that time he threw it too far ahead of him, and ended up leading to the interception. Yeah, and it's hard to know, you know, if the route was stopped short or not, because there was, I believe that was the backer that stepped in front of that, and if Shumway had maybe a few more seconds for his receiver to clear that backer, he's got an open window, and that's a complete pass.
So now possession for the Scots. They have a new quarterback in today, or in this drive, that being number 13, Cole McBrayer.
Ball carried by number 28, Tad Bogan.
And Tad Logan with that run. Cole McBrayer has played in 2 games so far this year, has 27 yards. Has only, up to this point, thrown 3 passes. So again, getting some good time in this 4th quarter with plenty of time remaining.
I'm sure hopefully for him, he's hoping to have a few more passes. It's hard to go in and just be running the ball.
And indeed he will. That pass is a little short, caught at the line of scrimmage and brought down for a loss of 1. Again, with that, with Maryville, you have a chance to put in some substitutions for almost an entire quarter if things go well, get them really long exposure to a game, because sometimes you have it to where a game's kind of decided, the score's too far separate, and you only get like maybe 1 possession for the substitutes. But now for Maryville, you have a chance to really play around with what they can do here.
Yep. Yeah, your 1s have done most of the job and got the score to where it is. Now you play your 2s and 3s and you get those guys some meaningful reps, really.
McBrayer back to pass. He feels the pressure. He's going to try to escape, but he's going to be brought down by number 44, Tuna Kavadra. That's the first time we've called his name in a little bit, but able to get that big stop, make it 4th down and another punt for the Scots.
Kind of the downside for Trey Hampton is when you score too many points, you don't get to play much. So, or you're, you know. And
this punt is a bit short. That's going to go out of bounds, give the Knights a decent field position.
So I think he was punting into the wind there. It didn't help his cause there, but otherwise, I believe that would have been a decent punt.
It has been decently windy all day so far. It's kind of changed directions here and there. Right now, it's going towards the right side. If you're watching this, right side of your screen is where it's going towards. So it has caused some issues in today's game. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Southern Virginia at their own 45-yard line. So just under 13 minutes left to play in this 4th quarter. Your Knights offense, obviously it's homecoming. You don't want it to be a shutout. You want to get some offensive production. You want to put some points on the board. And you had a good thing going. You just got to forget about the interception if you're Shumway.
Ooh, there you go. Yep.
And that is tipped. That was intended for number 88, Clinton Boxley. Box has gotten a number of targets today. It's just, again, him and Shumway just haven't really been able to connect.
Yeah, and that was kind of what I was talking about on the previous drive, was having a little bit extra time for him to clear those backers, and the pass was just a little bit short, and the linebacker got a hand on it, but it'll get there. You got some time. They'll be able to connect here in a little bit.
Now 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. All right, hand it off to Langtree, who's going to move forward for about a gain of about 2 yards. Make it 3rd down and 8.
Brought down by the Scots, number 42, Jordan Lacey, and number 46, Seth Carter.
And if I'm Southern Virginia right now, I'm wanting to get maybe a 5-6 yard passing play, make it a manageable 4th down attempt, because at this point you got to go for it. You got to try to get some positive momentum going. Shumway looks to his right, looks down the field. Nearly complete to number 18, Caden Hyder. He had his hands on it, but defender number 22, Grant Henderson, got his hand in there at the last moment.
Yeah, he was able to close on that pretty quick.
Pass broken up by number 22, Grant Henderson.
So now makes it 4th down and 8. Due to the formation, this is the same formation they've had the last few 4th downs where they've had the pooch punt. Looks like they will do the exact same thing again. This punt will roll towards the 20, around the 22-yard line. So the Knights only able to gain 2 yards total on that drive.
Scott, 22-yard line.
And you just tell that Southern Virginia Knights offense is just frustrated. They haven't been able to really have any big plays besides that one drive. And when they do get good things going, they either have a turnover on downs. They had the one interception a couple drives ago.
Yeah, and you're going to have these games. I mean, the longer you play, you're going to have games like this. Like you said, they're really frustrating to be a part of. But, you know, you got to work while you're in them, and while you're playing, you just work at it.
And there's another new quarterback in for Maryville, and this running game is going down the field for a big gain of about 7 yards. That's running back number 32, Jewett Reynolds. And in a quarterback right now is freshman number 18, Cooper Wick from Ottawa, Tennessee. So again, like you said, getting those 2s and 3s in there. That was a gain of about, again, 8 on that play. Make it 2nd down and 2. They're going to hand off once again to Bernard. Or Reynolds, I should say. That makes it a 1st down for the Scots. And again, at this point, with the way the running game has been going for the Scots, you can expect them to try to just simply run down the clock, utilize your running game, try to bounce to the outside. Nothing too fancy. I mean, obviously you want to give your guys reps, but you also want to make sure you don't have people getting hurt unnecessarily in these last few moments.
One like this, you know, let those guys, those 2s and 3s, get your basic, you know, get your power down. Make sure you're getting your basic system that you've got set up. Get those down in a game situation.
Here's a deep ball. And that is complete. That is complete to number 2, Wyatt Ruckerson. Great ball from Cooper Wick.
Forced out of bounds by the Knights, number 4, Seth Massey.
I mean, it was kind of a jump ball situation, 50-50. The defensive back could have gotten to it, but well placed by Wick.
Yeah, that was a good throw. Yep. Receiver gotten past the corner and in between the corner and safety, and right next to the sideline. That was good.
1st down and 10 at the Knights 35, and tripped up in the backfield is number 40, Tevin Thrower. He's going to lose about 4 yards in that play. I think just tripped up on his own feet a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little bit of home field advantage. The turf monster got him.
Or the more unlikely scenario where one of his teammates decided to play a little prank and tie his shoes together. Willing to bet that's not the case.
No.
They're in the pistol. Going to hand it off to him once again. This time staying on his feet. Make up a lot of ground. Make it about a 10-yard gain for Thrower.
Brought down by the Knights, number 24, Elijah Tassini.
Yeah, and Tassini, he's been this whole drive, he's been able to get up there and set that edge and turn the running back inside, and that's been perfect. And that's how you know, let your other guys come in and make the tackle.
3rd down and 4 for the Scots. Hands off the thrower once again. He's got the 1st down and more. And he's finally dragged down. I believe it was dragged down by number 54, Jacob Seawright.
That's good for another Scott 1st down.
So now they got it just inside the red zone of Southern Virginia. 1st down and 10. Wick going to hand off to the right side. Brought down by Vivai. Running, that was number 32, Jewett Reynolds. Great pursuit from Vivai off the edge. He was beat initially, but able to run down at the sidelines. Make it a gain of 5, make it 2nd down and 5.
Where is that Tui Nakavadra? Looks like it.
Oh, you're correct. That is Tui Nakavadra who was chasing him down. My apologies.
The 99 and 44 from this distance can. It's hard to tell.
So now 2nd down and 5. Cooper Wick got a pass across the middle. That's going to be into the end zone for a touchdown for the Scots. That was number 81, Jackson Noble, the freshman from Goodlettsville, Tennessee. And so the backup's able to put together a solid drive of their own and able to put it into the end zone.
Even Trey Hampton, even though he's only punted twice, he's had plenty of opportunities to get some extra points in there.
Hampton to kick. That one is up and through the uprights. Make it 45-0 in favor of the Scots. And again, like I said earlier, you just kind of feel that all the air is kind of taken out of Southern Virginia's sideline right now. They haven't been able to get an answer offensively all game long. It's been really difficult for them to keep up morale and to keep focused as well. And so at this point, Jared, if you're on the sidelines, what are some things you're trying to tell your teammates? What are some things you're trying to do in a game like this? Because again, any player at any level will have games like this at some point where things just aren't working right, where you're just not able to have an answer. What are lessons you can learn from games like this?
Well, for one, you know you're going to be running Monday or Tuesday, so get up, get pumped, be cheering on your teammates. I mean, that's really you got to stay alive. You got to, you don't just want to do it just for your coaches, but you got to show your teammates and your coaches you're still into the game. You can't just because you're down by 45 points, you can't just give up. You've got to stay positive. That's hard to do, but
solid kick from Hampton. It's fielded by Wood. Going to try and reverse the field. He's got a running lane. Brings it out to the 38-yard line. He saw a lane on this near side, and he did a great job following it for a solid return. And yeah, what you said, Jared, you're absolutely right. In games like this, you have to continue to fight no matter what. You have to continue to have that desire to make plays, to not lay down and just take, this type of game. And because I've seen plenty of games like this where you've seen both sides. I've seen a situation where a team has kind of just given up, stopped trying, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And I've also seen games where, a team that was down kept on fighting and ended the game taking some lessons away. And there's a missed snap. So nice Shumway trying to do something with it. He has to throw it away. There's a penalty on the field. Multiple penalties. If I were to guess, I believe the first one might be holding and the second one might be a late hit against Shumway.
Well, and you want to, you've got fans here, you've got alumnus. I mean, you want to, show that you want that.
So we'll be offsetting penalties. Guilty of the holding.
Number 85 with
Number
the
70,
defense.
Bryson
This play
Lampert.
is all set. First down.
So still first down for Southern Virginia. Back at the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, people, regardless of the score, you still want to see your team putting forth effort and that they want to play. And that's hard to see sometimes from the stands. But fans come to see you play and they want to see you work hard and try your best. And sometimes they're just the other team's better than you or have just played better. And but the effort, you can control your effort.
And one of the most important things that I think can be learned from football is both mental toughness and just determination. Those are the big lessons to take away from football. Because, again, it's a difficult sport. It's a very physical sport and also very mentally and emotionally draining sport. And so if you have those things, another false snap or mishandled snap, Nelson able to pick it right up. And still on his feet. Biggest play of the game for Nelson, bringing it into the Scott territory. So 2 straight bad snaps that time, somehow working out for Southern Virginia.
That's good for another nice first down.
Kind of curious as to what exactly is happening in that exchange between the center and Shumway. Because I believe both times the ball kind of hit and skipped on the ground.
Yeah.
And again, Kay Nelson doing a great job of improvising. That snap plenty high enough and fast enough. Pass complete to Washington, and Washington is drilled. by number 20, Isaiah Terry. That's another consistent of this game is that Maryville has really done a great job at hitting, flying to the ball, and making sure that the receiver or the running back or whoever has the ball knows that they were just hit.
Yeah, and there's no yaks. There's no yards after the catch. They catch it and they're down. And I mean that's a sign of a good defense, you know, in tackling. And they've done a good job of that, as I mentioned earlier. All their games of just tackling and swarming to the ball.
Shumway fakes the handoff, rolling out to his right, throwing deep to the end zone. It was nearly intercepted and then also nearly complete to Caden Hyder. The pass was a little short, similar to what we saw earlier today with Rollins and the Scots.
And I always loved in high school, junior high, high school, college, of play action. I love play action. You know, faking that dive, faking that, you know, that power to the weak side or the strong side, you know, and then rolling out the opposite side. I mean, you just get people shifting and flowing, and you have a good chance of success on those.
Absolutely, especially if you've been able to establish that run game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Shumway back to pass. He's got some pressure. Run out to his right. He's going to have to throw that one away. The only receiver in the vicinity was Derek Washington.
Passing complete, intended for number 9.
And that was quite the bull rush there from multiple defenders from Maryville, including, I believe, number 1, Jonathan Harris, as well as number 0, Mike Bethay. So makes it 3rd down and 10.
You know, and even though they've gotten a lot of pressure, we haven't had any sacks. We've had, maybe 1 or 2 sacks on the day. They've just gotten pressure. They've just been able to pressure Maryville's defense on SVU all day.
Fakes handoff. Shumway is going to direct the pass. Throws it deep to Washington.
Oh.
Batted away at the last second. That was from number 20, Isaiah Terry.
Yeah.
He was beat by half a step by Washington, but doing a great job of overcoming that. And again, the pass just a little bit too short.
Yeah, passed a little short, and but he made time and was able to knock that pass down. So otherwise, I believe that was going to be a catch, but that was a good play.
Now just under 6 minutes left to go in this one. 4th down and 10. You know that the Knights are going for it. Again, at this point, you have nothing to lose. Back to pass for Shumway again. Throws it. Chase Webster.
Ooh, that could be targeting.
A solid hit on him.
Number 2, Chase Wester.
And Chase Wester will get a 1st down. And a late flag comes in.
Flag on the play.
Yep.
I believe they're going to penalize the hit. I think they're going to try to claim the defender led with his helmet or hitting a defenseless receiver.
That was a direct shot to the head there, but.
And also he kind of got folded a little bit backwards, which is never something you want to see. Wester was able to pop right back up. Thank goodness. We're still waiting to hear official word. The guilty party is number 33, Cal Corbin. And they will call it a targeting penalty. So puts it inside the 10.
Number 33 is ejected from the.
And so number 33, Kyle Corbin, is ejected with that targeting call as per NCAA rules.
Nope.
So now 1st down and goal for the first time today for Southern Virginia's offense. He's going to fake the handoff, run it inside. Met right away by number 1, Jonathan Harris.
Brought down by the Scots, number 43, Carson Goodwin. Brings up 2nd and goal.
And Langtree may have been able to have the edge there and get to the corner, get to the pylon. had Shumway handed that off to him. Hindsight of 2020, of course, so. But he saw what he saw.
You're seeing that the Scots are loading the box right now, so they're forcing the Knights to try to throw it to the outside. They really are trying to force that pass because, again, their defensive backs have done a great job at limiting that passing attack all game long, keeping everything in front of them. And even if the receiver does get behind them, they're able to catch up to the ball and bat it away. So now 3rd down and goal at the 4-yard line.
You know, on that last play, that I believe it was our receiver on the left side came down into the end zone, and a good route here to be a nice arrow route to the outside.
Here's Wester. I was going to say they're probably going to attack that back right corner. They like that play, especially when Johansson is in the game. But that time it was Wester. That pass is a little bit too far to the outside, and Wester wasn't able to adjust to it. So now 4th down and goal.
I always like when you get down here on the goal line, you know, kind of a rollout, because then you got the option Shumway can run, you know, if the receivers aren't open, but you've got maybe a flood to 2 or 3 receivers going into the end zone, and he's rolling out. See what happens.
Hand off to Nelson. He's going to try to take it in. He's going to get to the end zone. Touchdown, Knights. You could tell Nelson really wanted that one. He fought tooth and nail through the defenders. He wanted to not have this homecoming game be a shutout.
Yeah, it was a good solid run. Needed that.
Makes it 45-6. The Knights are going to do their whole feign the 2-point attempt. As they usually do, unless they get the right look, they usually go right back to the point after. So the Knights finally get on the board with 4.5 minutes left in this 4th quarter. Point after is up, and it is good. Make it 45-7. And again, in a game that has been very one-sided and a lot of things haven't gone your way, you give the fans something to be excited about in the last few moments. You get a good solid drive going. You get a good running play, get into the end zone. You get the senior running back, Cade Nelson, able to put it in there.
Well, it gives you something to look at too on film, you know, for next week. Something positive, you know, something to go with. There's always positives, even in a loss, but even if you didn't score. But there's, it's always nice to get something like that, even if it is towards the end of the game. But you see that something does work.
And after a game like today where a lot of snaps have been mishandled, a lot of things haven't gone your way, it is always nice to get the reminder, yes, there are some. It's not, the whole world's not crashing down on us. Let's not think about that, because that's simply not true. But now the Knights kicking off.
And a lot of these things are correctable too, and that's the great thing about it. You know,
right?
Just missed tackles, you know, some bad snaps, some maybe route running.
Here's Kim. He's gonna have a short kickoff, and that's gonna go out of bounds and be a penalty. They were trying to make it a difficult return for Maryville, but in the process they shot themselves in the foot by kicking it out of bounds. That is the 2nd penalty of which we have seen today, 1 from each team.
You know, sometimes on those kicks you try to get it to that 2nd or 3rd row where those guys typically aren't the best ball handlers, you know, and you hope kind of you know, that they'll either try to catch it and bobble it, you know, and then you can pick up the fumble. But in that case, went out of bounds.
And a new quarterback once again in for the Scots. This quarterback is number 4, Zach Hallman, the sophomore from Maryville, Tennessee.
Pass completed at number 2, Wyatt Ruckerson.
And Ruckerson still making plays for the Scots at the wide receiver position, gain of about 8.
Number 16, Colby Hyder.
So 2nd down and 2 at their own 43-yard line. They're going to hand off up the middle. Got plenty of running room. Again, this offensive line from Maryville. Again, we talk about the statistics, the rushing yards, the passing yards, and all that. A lot of times, all these commentators all over the country like to shout out the offensive line for any team that's getting a good surge, because that's where the game is won, in the trenches. If you get a good push at the line of scrimmage, if you're able to protect the pocket, that's all credit to your offensive line, and that's exactly what the Scotsmen will do today.
Yeah, and Coach Nate had mentioned to me about how physical and solid their O-line was.
And they'll be
coming into the week. You know, just they've got a real physical, strong offensive line, and they showed it today.
Indeed. Gain of about 2 yards on that one, approaching 3 minutes left in this 4th quarter. Tuina Kavadra was in on that last tackle for the Knights. So now the Scots are in Knight territory. And running up the middle is number 4, Zach Holman. He pulled that one, look downfield. It was a good old classic QB draw.
Yeah, because they've still got some of their starters in and on the offensive line. You've got 3 juniors, you know, 2 or 3 upperclassmen and 2 sophomores. I mean, that says a lot. You know, just experience. You can't beat experience, and it's shown today. You know, and just their execution. It's kind of a word that's sometimes overused, but they've been executing very well today.
And also, good thing about keeping your starting offensive lineman in is that it allows these 2nd and 3rd string receivers and quarterbacks and running backs to really get actual solid looks. Pass intended for number 30, Christian Saindon. Because, again, these offensive linemen have kind of gotten rhythm. They're able to figure out how to open up those running lanes, really give your specialty players that opportunity. So another 4th down for the Scots.
Yeah, it looked like we had some 2s in there. It looked like Chase Carter and Wesley Irwin there on the offensive line. So definitely good for those guys to get more time. You can never beat that. More time is good.
So Hampton will be punting from his own 41-yard line. He's going to boom this one. It's going to land inside the 10 and going to be down at the 4-yard line.
Ball punted by number 38, Jacob Burke.
So again, 1:46 left to go. If you're the Knights, you're just going to try to run out this clock. Maybe try one pass play, try to get to the side, break a few tackles. But other than that, you kind of want to get out of this one, reassess what happened, go into this next week of practice, evaluate the film, figure out things you work on.
Yeah, hopefully you can, you know, break a run here. Again, you know, a quick completion for, you know, 20 yards or so, and just get some positive momentum going into the end of the game, like you said, going into this week coming up as we get ready for Belhaven.
Indeed, they'll play Belhaven on October 22nd next Saturday at Belhaven. That run goes forward for about 3 yards for Southern Virginia. And the next time they're at home and that will be broadcasting Southern Virginia football will be on the 29th against Methodist University. That'll be at noon here at the Fields. Should be an exciting one. The Knights travel to LaGrange on November 5th.
Ball carried by number 25,
We'll play there at 1 p.m.
Gain of 4 on the play.
And they'll finish the year at home on the 12th against Brevard College. So we still have 2 more home games to present to you here on the Knights Broadcasting. Shumway is going to put his head down, run ahead, and run out of bounds. Longest run we've seen from Shumway today.
Yeah, and he was actually looking at Jarique Washington. He looked like he had slipped on a play. He was about ready to throw to him, and he had just slipped and fell, and then Shumway was able to make a good decision and turn off running. So
1st down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And at this point, this drive kind of treat it like 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
You know, just try to see what you can get out of it. work on some execution. Almost treat it like a practice in a way. Let's try to work on some things. And that's a solid first down for the Knights.
Well, like you said, you know, run your 2-minute drill. You know, you can practice those. You can go over those in practice, but nothing's like actually doing it in a game.
Right.
And so, yeah, treat it. Run your 2-minute drill as if the game's on the line.
Yeah, figure out the pacing, what you can do well. Shumway looks to his right side. That is complete.
Chase.
Cutting back to the inside was number 80, Chase Pope.
Pass complete to number 80, Chase.
And the Knights will call a timeout. They have 2 more remaining after this one. So again, they're approaching exactly kind of what we're saying. They're approaching it like it's a last-minute drive, trying to win the game and trying to tie the game, because they want their players to have the mentality. They want them to be ready for those types of situations. And the Knights have been in those situations in the past couple of years. There have been plenty of tight contests here at Knight Stadium specifically. And so you want to be ready and treat this like that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always learning that can be done. And, again, regardless of the score and regardless of who's out on the field, you know, starters or twos or threes, you still got to execute, and this is a great opportunity for them. You know, come away with something positive here, yeah, and make something happen. Come away with a little bit of a positive vibe here.
Speaking of positive vibes, the band for Southern Virginia playing Sweet Caroline down in the stands. That'll always boost your mood, if I do say so myself. Now 2nd down and 7 for the Knights. Shumway back to pass. Pass deep down to Wester. Nearly complete, but great hands by number 20, Isaiah Terry.
Broken up by number 20.
Again, that one just a little short to the inside. If it was a little bit further, Wester would have had it for a huge gain, if not a touchdown.
Yep. No, Terry with a great play again. Just a hand, that's all you needed. A few fingers, and he got it.
I tell you what, this defensive backfield for Maryville is going to go into film this next week, and they're just going to be patting themselves on the back the whole time, because they've really made some great plays in that defensive backfield.
Yeah, and they've got six sophomores, 6 starting sophomores. I mean, so you're looking at defense.
And that pass is
Nice.
complete for a first down. That is Caden Hyder.
That's good for another night.
And you're looking at a defense coming back next year pretty strong. You know, assuming all these players come back, you got 4 juniors and 6 sophomores. I mean, that's technically 10 returning starters on defense for Maryville. That's
Returning
not bad.
starters on defense, and you got the great offensive weapons that are freshmen with
Yep.
Rollins, as well as you know, you had plenty of different other weapons, including Kevon Samuels. I mean, this Maryville team, watch out for them in USA South for the next couple of years. And Drake
Nice.
Washington going up and snagging that one.
Complete to number 9, Jairique Washington. That's good for another night. First down.
And so another timeout will be called by the Knights. Again, if, like you said, if they keep this pace up with this team, this could be a dangerous squad in Maryville for the USA South in the next couple of years. They could really be dominant. Again, if they're able to retain those players, keep up the momentum of growth and progression, should be very, very fun to see.
Yep. And then, you know, on SVU side, you know, we've only got 2 seniors, 2 starting seniors, you know, they would be leaving. And the rest, we've got 5 sophomores, 4 freshmen, you know, and 5 of those, out of those 9 are on the offensive line. So, you know, it's tough to take right now because they're young, but into, you know, next year and the year after, they'll have grown and they'll get better. And that's, yeah, it's hard right now to take those lumps, but the next few years will be promising for SVU.
Shumway back to pass. Gonna chuck it
There
deep.
you go.
Complete along the sideline to number 80.
That's good for
Now
another
deep
night.
inside
First down.
Scott's territory with 12 seconds remaining. It's now first down and 10 at the Scots 17-yard line. If you play your cards right, you could have a chance for maybe 3 plays to the end zone right here. Maybe get 1 play, get closer, get out of bounds, take 2 shots. Showing to pass, throws it to the back corner to Wester.
Ooh, out of bounds.
Wester was out of bounds when he got his hands on that one.
Intended for number 2, Chase Wester.
Good effort to reel it in. But with how long that play took, now you probably only just simply have one shot.
Yeah.
Because you got to let the routes develop in the back.
Yeah, it looked like that ball threw a little bit. The wind is blowing left to right, you know, from where we stand, and maybe that ball got caught in the wind there and caught away from Shumway a little bit.
I think Shumway will go one of two places the next play. I think they're going to try Drake Washington in the inside, or they're going to try Wester on that corner route once again, try to get in the back end of the end zone. He will look to Wester.
Ooh, one more shot.
Indeed, they will have 2 seconds on the clock. And Maryville was ready for that one. They knew that they were going to go to Wester on that far side. There was 3 defenders surrounding him. Fortunately for Shumway, he passed it too far to the outside for anyone to get to. Knights crowd doing a great job at trying to rally this offense for one final play. That's one thing that you love to see from a home crowd, especially in a one-sided game like this where things haven't gone your way. Your fans are still invested. They're still behind you.
Yeah, you need that.
Shumway back to pass. Trying to go across the middle to Drake Washington, but it'll fall incomplete. And that will be the end of the game. The score, 45-7. Scots take this one on homecoming day for Southern Virginia. Again, a lot of things to learn from on Southern Virginia's end. But if you're Maryville, the way you're performing right now offensively, there's a lot of things to look forward to the rest of this year. Again, last year with this game, that time played at Maryville, they were able to tally off 4 wins out of 6 games. So if they follow that pattern, they could be really dangerous in the USA South. But well-fought game all around. And Maryville, you've impressed me today.
Yeah, no, they're definitely trending in the right direction. 3 wins the last 4 games. I mean, you can't but help but pull some confidence from that and just keep on rolling.
Absolutely. And we want to thank you all so much for viewing today's broadcast here on the Knights Broadcasting channel. Again, be sure to give us a like, comment, let us know how we're doing. Be sure to subscribe, click the notification bell so you don't miss out on all future Southern Virginia athletic events. Again, the next time this football team will be broadcasted here on the channel will be on October 29th against Methodist University at 12 p.m. Got a lot of other things between here and then, so be sure to stick around. We got some great stuff for you. We appreciate tuning in one final time on behalf of myself, Dawson Weidrich, and Jared King. So long, God bless, and go Knights.